I'll press go live on our broadcast. Hello everyone, welcome to Stretch and Sip. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. I'm Abby and I'll walk you through first some foot exercises, some foot stretches. I'm just moving my toes towards the front of my body, leading with the toes by lifting my heels, stepping towards the ball of my foot. Today we're focusing on a message of taking a leap of faith, and that can be just a small step, a first step. So let's start from our feet as if we're taking that small step by lifting to our toes, remembering that God didn't part the Red Sea until Moses took a step forward first. It takes our leap of faith for progress to begin. So from here, let's bring our hands over our head, starting to lift now the upper body as well. And we're going to lift just one foot out at a time here, mimicking kind of a warrior pose here in our chair. You'll see if you're at home that we're using chairs tonight to support us through this process. Let's switch to the other side. Good, because our focus tonight is on stability. Let's switch sides 2 more times. We're focusing not on our posture, but on our stability, aligning ourselves. Using this chair is a great tool because it has those straight sides. We can depend on them for support through these movements. So again, let's bring our feet a little bit more in towards our chair so that our ankle is aligned now with our knee. Our gaze is still up toward the ceiling as our arms are up. Starting to push back into that chair, engaging now our lower back, our mid back, by pushing those shoulders back and down through this movement, keeping those feet moving for a dynamic movement, getting that flow of energy through our whole body. Beautiful. Taking deep breaths as we are. In for 2, 1, 2, and out for 2, 3, 4. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Great job. And so we remember an important fact: up to 25% of adults are hypermobile. That means that our bodies are a little bit more flexible than physically they should be. So proper alignment and attention to modifications such as blocks or chairs encourages our bodies to have stability in every sequence. Tonight we're focusing on one area at a time. We started at our feet. We're moving up now, engaging through the legs by bringing our feet back towards the chair, pushing our backs into the chair and keeping those arms up to keep the shoulders up, back, and down, opening the chest. Looking up slightly, our gaze is toward the ceiling to wake up that rotator cuff, the muscles through our neck and upper back. Chin's up slightly here, encouraging proper posture through the neck, noticing any areas of tension through the shoulders, especially as we stay here for one more breath, and then exhale our hands down to either side. Our hands are going to support us as we push up to those toes, bringing them back forward so that we can hinge here at the hips for a chair pose. Our hands can stay here at our sides at first because we're focusing on our lower body and keeping our knees not beyond our toes, but aligned with our ankles still. Good job mimicking that same movement. We're going to bring our hands up on either side, keeping our gaze toward the ceiling again. And our chair is here to support us at any time. Feel free to relax and reset. You can sit all the way down toward your chair and try again. I'll demonstrate that for you. Let me turn my chair to the side so our friends at home can see how I fall right back into the chair and then push back up, keeping that hinge through the hips the entire movement, right? So keeping those hips hinged and my gaze toward the ceiling to maintain alignment through the spine here. Great work. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. Feeling a little pump through the legs here before exhaling back down to our chair. Again, I'm going to scooch all the way back and let my spine again melt into my chair. This time noticing any areas of tension, especially through the lower back. We focused first on these shoulders. So those should still be up, back, and down. Now my mid and lower back are pushing back again into the chair, continuing those movements in the feet, pushing the toes a bit back so they can be aligned with the knees here. Focusing again on one area at a time. Bringing our focus now to the front of our bodies. Noticing how our abs are engaged after that movement. Pushing them back towards our chair. Ensuring alignment in the spine. I encourage you here to put a hand on your stomach, just below your ribs. Noticing the engagement as you breathe. Hello, welcome. And how that engagement shifts as your toes are moving, heels moving up and down. So as we're here, continuing our breath, let's hear our scripture for the evening. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Tonight we're focusing on the feeling and pushing out of our comfort zone, not into pain, but into a pursuit for faithful progress. So here we are back in our chair. Welcome in if you're just joining us. We're going to sit up a little from our seat by removing our shoulders and upper back from the chair. So now our spine is not in contact at all with the back of our seat. We're sat up straight, engaging the hips as we twist the spine from side to side. I'm twisting first toward the right. My elbow can reach over the edge of my chair. And to the side, my opposite hand, left hand, is towards the side of my chair so that I can turn my chin toward my right shoulder, twisting the entirety of my spine and maintaining that focus on the hips through this movement, keeping the hips stable and aligned with the back of my seat, the bottom of my seat. So my hips are not twisting, just my spine. Keeping those shoulders up, back, and down. My gaze is toward the back of my chair. My chin is aligned with my shoulder. And I'm taking deep breaths through this movement, again focusing on the upper part of my abdomen, continuing the twist through that section of my body by reaching that left hand a little further toward the back of my chair, to encourage the lower part of my back to engage in this twist. We'll stay here for one breath and then exhale, slowly easing back to our center, bringing our hands back down and shaking out the shoulders, keeping our back off of the back of our chair. Again, ensuring that those hips are aligned with the base and bottom of our chair. As we exhale, again, we windshield wiper the left elbow towards the back of our chair, my right hand towards the side. I'll turn my chair so friends at home can see how I'm keeping those hips aligned, keeping our hips straight towards the front of our seat. So knees and toes and hips are staying stagnant here, staying stuck in place. We're focusing first on the upper part of our spine, twisting that chin toward our left shoulder. Imagining a string is connecting your chin and your left shoulder here. And then after a few breaths, you can deepen this stretch by engaging the upper part of our abdomens just below our ribs, walking that right hand towards the back of our seat to achieve a twist through our lower spine as well. Great job, everyone. We'll stay here for 2 breaths, focusing again on the feeling, one area at a time. Being present for our pursuit of progress. Always being wary of any pain or tension we may feel, feeling free to relax and reset at any time. That's especially what our chair is here for, so that we can align ourselves with those straight lines. Feel stable and supported. As you exhale, come back to your center, arms to either side, again shaking out those shoulders. Keeping chest nice and open by allowing those shoulders to move up, back, and down. And then fall to either side, focusing on the shoulders through this movement. The back of our spine is still not on the chair. The back of our spine is not taking any of our weight here. We're sat up nice and tall. And we're going to put our arms out to either side to move through a helicopter motion. This is a dynamic movement where we're twisting our whole spine the same way we just practiced, fluidly from our chin and shoulder. That's where we're centralizing this movement. Imagining we're moving from our chin and shoulder, the hands follow, keeping that alignment in the spine. Taking some deep breaths before slowing down, sticking on one side for 1 breath, then exhaling to the other side, sticking here for another breath, and exhaling back to our center. Arms stay out to either side, again mimicking that same motion where we move the shoulders up, back, and down, shaking them out before dropping one arm and twisting one hand up toward the ceiling. My hand is grabbing onto the side of my chair here. My left hand is grabbing onto the side of the left side of my chair. I'm still keeping those hips aligned, pushing them into the bottom of my seat, and my gaze is up toward my fingertips now. We're creating alignment from the chin to the shoulder, up to the fingers here. Keeping our backs off of our chair, focusing in on how our hips are carrying our weight here, keeping us stable and supported. As we exhale one more time, we're shifting back to that helicopter, shaking out our shoulders, ensuring that the chest is open. My gaze is still up toward the ceiling so I can maintain that high posture so that I can continue to extend the spine. Now in the other direction, again, my hand comes to grab to the right side of my chair. My left hand is up toward the ceiling, and I'm gazing beyond those fingertips toward the ceiling, feeling that alignment again from chin to shoulder to fingers. Feeling free to relax and reset at any time. This is an easy one to lock your elbow in. Ensure that your elbow is slightly bent here, not totally straight, so that we're not causing any tension or overstretching. Great job, everyone. So our faith can be a motivator for us to pursue freedom in life. Faith is our internal force for personal liberation from fear, destructive habits, and an external force inspiring involvement in social issues, justice, and equality. As you exhale, bring your hand back down to your chair, again shaking out the shoulders with the hands on either side now, ensuring that chest is nice and open, chin is up. We've achieved that alignment there. Keeping those abs engaged, I encourage you to put your hand here. As we re-engage with a stabilizing movement, a reverse chair pose, where we're going to come up from our chair. So similarly to how we practiced our chair pose, we're keeping the knees aligned with the ankles. We're keeping that alignment from our fingers to our shoulders. Our chin is involved in this movement as we gaze up as well. And we're hinging at the hips from our chair, then pushing our bodies forward toward the fingertips through this motion. So this one's a bit trickier than a regular chair pose because we are pushing up with our full force through this movement. So take it nice and easy and ensure that you are focusing on alignment in every area, starting from the feet by layering the knees over the ankles, but not beyond the toes. Keeping those hinged hips as you push your weight forward toward your fingers. So now that we've worked through that alignment from our fingers to our shoulders to our chin, we're starting to engage the hips as well, connecting the upper and lower body for stabilization. This is a good strengthening exercise so that we're not just stretching, we're also stabilizing. But you may notice some shakiness or tension here. Feel free to come right back down to your chair. Relax and reset at any time, ensuring again that your knees are not beyond your toes. Your hips are hinged, straight and steady. Fingertips up as you push your weight forward through that hinge, up towards your fingertips. Great job. Feet should be about shoulder width apart here, keeping us stable. Feel free to wobble from side to side, feeling the weight in your feet through this movement. If you're having any issues staying steady, that's a great way to find your center, find your balance by grounding from the feet. Great job. We'll continue this for one more breath. And then exhale, back down, hands to either side of our chair, re-engaging our hips here by allowing them to melt right down into our chair. I'm going to bring my hands to my knees now. Good job. And start to engage the chest with a slight cat-cow just by pushing the chest from the shoulders forward and back. A gentle rocking motion. Good. To re-engage the abs nice and slow, cooling down after that strengthening exercise. My gaze is toward the front of my feet, or the front of my mat would be how I normally say that. Gaze is toward the front. As we continue those gentle pushes. And what we're doing in this is mimicking the same kind of motion we practiced as we pushed up into that chair pose, the reverse chair. Our hips are hinged and stable. Hands here at the knees, which are about shoulder width apart, over the ankles. And just taking tension off of our shoulders by pushing gently forward and back here, pushing from the shoulders to open the chest. Great job, everybody. From here, we're going to ensure that our ankles are right below the knees as we hinge at the hips and start to melt our chest down toward the knees all the way this time. The same thing as that movement we just practiced, this time just pushing all the way forward, allowing gravity to take our upper body down toward our toes. My hands stay at the knees to ensure that I'm not overstretching here. Just following the natural alignment of my legs here, resting my chest on my legs, looking down toward the toes. We'll stay here for a few moments, taking any tension off the shoulders and chest here. Before inhaling, to push back up from our hands on our knees into a seated position. From here, I'm going to push back to the back of my chair, realigning my spine with the back of my seat so that I can bend one knee and bring it up towards my body. You could actually bring it up towards your chair if you'd like to rest your foot fully on your chair here. Otherwise, we can hold on to the back of our hamstring here and just push it up gently, keeping that alignment in the hips through this motion, as well as the spine. So we're not creating any twist here. The shoulders should stay aligned with the back of your seat. So if you're seeing from home, you'll see how I'm gently pushing my shoulders toward my seat and knee toward my chest. I'll demonstrate another way of how I'm holding my ankle. Again, keeping that push through my spine and pushing that knee towards myself. This is a super simple way to stretch our hips and an easy seat. If you find yourself at a desk for a long time or in a seat for a long time, this is a great way to include a simple stretch in your day, a simple sequence. Let's exhale, releasing any tension in our shoulders as we slowly bring our foot back down, switching again to the other side, grabbing onto those hamstrings or ankle, whatever's comfortable for you. Keeping those hips toward the back of our seat and on the bottom of our chair, ensuring they are aligned through this motion. Again, focusing especially on one area at a time. This one is on our hips. Another way you could deepen this stretch is to include a foot stretch here, the same way we practice moving our toes and heels. It's an awesome way to include a foot stretch through this movement. Again, something that can be done when we're in a seat for a long time. In an airplane, watching a movie. This is a simple stretch we can include. So again, our faith provides a moral framework for us, a sense of divine purpose, and of course here at church, a supportive community. An awesome quote from Martin Luther King Jr. His faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. As we exhale, let's bring that right foot back down. Good job. And continue those gentle foot motions, lifting to the toes first, focusing again on that area, just by lifting the heels. And a great way, if you're feeling like you might be overstretching the feet here, is to do one at a time from left to right. That's a great way to focus on one area at a time. It's just starting one side at a time, always feeling free to relax and reset. Great job. From here, we're going to actually lift both of our legs, sort of for an assistive V-sit. So our abs are really engaged through this, right? We're keeping our whole spine pushed back into the seat through this movement. Great job. Our knees should still be about shoulder width apart. Shoulders engaged with our chair, focusing on our hips. Again, we can include that toe stretch, holding on to either the hamstrings or the ankles as we maintain that alignment in the hips, as we push the knees toward our chest, closing that space between our knees and chest. Notice how your hips are feeling here as you're stretching both of them up while still keeping them aligned with your chair. Notice any tension or areas of discomfort here, feeling free to relax and reset at any time. Especially noticing if you feel more tightness in one hip than the other. This would be a great time to drop one leg down, focusing on just one hip at a time, like we said. It's always awesome to focus on one side at a time to find that alignment. I'll again demonstrate for folks at home from the front. How we lift from the hamstrings. Lift from the hamstrings, pushing back into the chair to allow me to shake right up. About shoulder width apart. Great job, everybody. So an awesome fact I want to share with you is that neuroscientists predict we understand merely 10% of our brain function. We don't understand most of our brain's fundamental processes or connections. So what this proves is that we know it works, but the how is secondary. The same way we apply that fact to our faith. Let's exhale our toes back down, about shoulder width apart, melting the hips back down into our chair, shoulders back, taking some deep breaths as we put just one toe forward. One leg is long here. Our opposite knee is going to push down so that we can stretch our hamstring just one at a time. A way you could deepen this stretch is continue that push in your left leg, but pull up the right leg the same way we practiced, just pulling up that hamstring while still keeping those hips engaged. Good, I'll demonstrate both ways. I'm just gently pushing that knee, pushing down on my left knee, and outstretching my right toes, leading from those right toes. Good, deepening by lifting from the hamstring. So in Methodist theology, we understand that God works through the Holy Spirit to help people live a life of wholeness and holiness. This journey begins with faith and continues through grace. Jesus said, "I am the door." He gave us the door to faith, the door that opens the opportunity for freedom in humanity. Our transformation and healing happens along the way. As you exhale, go ahead and bring that heel back down to the floor. Finding the feet again, shoulder width apart. Switching now to the other side by pushing down on that right knee and stretching out those left toes. Now this is a really small movement, but you should feel a significant stretch through your hamstring and up into your hip. You'll notice that my chest is aligned with my knee here. So there's a slight twist in my shoulders toward my right knee. That allows me to lead from my left toes, focusing in on those left toes, focusing on one area of a time. Pushing down that right knee and optionally lifting up the left hamstrings. So when we choose faith, we have a changed heart, mind, and actions. And this is a choice we make not just one time, but continuously make. Continue to choose to walk with Christ, practicing tools that bring us closer to Him and amplify the Holy Spirit in us, shaping our desires, words, and actions. Good. Again, you should feel this through your left hamstring up into your left hip. Feel free to relax at any time. Before we exhale, to bring that foot back to center. Again, pushing the shoulders back into our chair, realigning. Taking a deep breath here, finding your comfort, noticing any areas of tension especially. I encourage you to continue a dynamic movement through those areas, whether it be a gentle twist or shake. Just focusing in especially on the feeling of these stretches and strengthening exercises. So John Wesley described the feeling of faith as his heart being strangely warmed by the Holy Spirit. I encourage you here to put your hands here at your heart, breathing in that warmth and sighing out the Holy Spirit within you. Through our words, desires, and actions, we share that goodness. Continuing those dynamic movements for one more breath before releasing, hands back down to either side of our chair. So here, I'm going to turn my chair so friends at home can see how I'm going to shift to the side of my seat now, so that the back of my seat is toward my side. And when I turn toward the side of this chair, it ensures that my spine is doing the work, staying strong and tall. Hips are still aligned with the bottom of our seat here. Great job, everyone. And what we're going to do is scoot the outside leg, which for me is my left, toward the side of my seat. So now toward the front of my chair. I'm going to use my palm to support me as I push that knee down toward the floor. Good. So take this nice and slow. Allow your palm to take the weight toward the front of your body, so the weight is always shifting to the front so we're not falling over, right? Just gently allowing our knee to align with the hip here to stretch our quad. So I'm going to focus here on my hip by keeping my hand on my hip. That ensures that I'm focusing on those hips staying aligned through this movement. Staying here for just a moment to get comfortable with it. And then the opposite leg, my right leg here, is going to align with my ankle. So right knee aligned with the right ankle. That's the next area we'll focus on here. So if you missed that, the steps that we're focusing on is hip over left knee, left hip over left knee, hip straight and square, and right knee over right ankle. Great job, everyone. We'll stay here for one more breath. And then we'll very gently allow our chest to move toward our right knee. Palm comes down to the side. So my left palm is aligned now with my right ankle. Great job. If you want to deepen the stretch, you could walk that left knee back, keeping the hips aligned to feel stretch through the hips and then down through the left quad, the front of our left leg. My left palm and my right foot are supporting my weight here so that I can melt my chest down toward that right knee and walk the left toes back. From here, my right hand can hold on to the back of my chair, shifting my weight toward the right so that I can release the left palm towards the right knee, and windshield wiper, left leg back to center. Great job, everybody. Taking it nice and slow. As we switch now to the opposite side, I'm going to switch my chair so that friends at home can see how I'm still sat on the side. And I'm going to continue the same motion on the opposite side now. So I'm sat in the front half of my chair. My knee very gently is going to windshield wiper down to the floor. Hands here at the hips to ensure alignment through the hips through this movement. Then finding alignment from the left knee to the left ankle. And lastly, from the right hip to the right knee. Good job. Again, if you missed that, aligning the hips, aligning the left side, and then aligning the right side. Focusing again on one area at a time. My gaze is toward the floor as I gently push that left hand towards my left ankle and walk the right foot back to feel that stretch through my hips and quads. Again, feeling most of our weight here through the left foot and right hand, right palm. Noticing always any areas of tension or tightness in those areas, especially through the wrist here. Feeling free to relax and reset at any time. Continuing as we exhale to walk those right toes back, feeling that stretch through the right quad and right hip. Gazes down toward our toes as we melt the chest into our left side. A slight twist through the shoulders here toward the left. So our goal in faith is to know that God is guiding us, to not question if He is or not, as it's not our job to determine God's will. Our job is just to trust His will be done. That leap of faith, that small step of faith, looks like stepping without confirmation. God says, I will make all of your crooked paths straight. So walking by faith and not by sight means having faith in the divine truth that God is not limited by our choices. Therefore, we do not need confirmation. If it is God's will, we trust that it is. His will be done. We'll stay here for one more breath. And then again, my left hand grabs onto the back of my chair. Right hand comes up to the left knee and windshield wiper back to center. Great job, everybody. So I'm going to sit up nice and tall here with my hands on my knees. Just taking a moment, taking account of how my hips are feeling here, because we're moving next into a strengthening exercise, a warrior pose that will require us to do the same kind of movement, stepping just one foot back. So I'm using my right foot first, pushing onto the balls of my feet. Left foot comes slightly forward, pushing from the heel to the toes, pushing up from the knees, hinging here at the hips to push all the way up into our warrior pose. So we'll demonstrate that again for you nice and slow. How I'm from center, windshield wiping my right foot back so that the balls of my feet can push up. Can push up toward my front foot, using those hands at our front knee. There you go, then releasing up into a warrior pose. Good job. So you'll notice how I took a little tumble there. That was because my hips were not aligned. So keeping the hips aligned is a really important way to keep the middle part of our body stable. That's what the chair is for tonight, to keep those hips straight and square through each of these movements. So if you're struggling with that at all, do come back to your seat, just like I did, and ensure you're hinged here at the hips, keeping them straight and square before pushing up. Good job. Keeping the gaze up toward our fingertips here. And you'll notice this is a modified warrior pose where I'm keeping the ball of my back foot engaged through this movement. I'm not putting down my heel. so that I can strengthen that back leg. Good job. Engaging those back hamstrings and quad muscles. Again, if you notice any shakiness here, especially through the front leg, realign yourself by ensuring that your knee is not beyond your toes, hips are strong and square, and feet are a little more than shoulder width apart, maintaining our weight through the front foot from our heel to our toe. We'll stay here for one more breath, and then nice and slowly exhale those arms back out to your side. Hand can come to your chair, left hand on my chair. Good, so that I can come right back down, and windshield wiper back to center. Great job, everybody. Again, hands come here to our knees, realigning with our seat here, ensuring those hips are square. As we recall, that is important. We refuse to stay stuck because we are called to move forward as stewards of the Lord. The Bible calls us to care for vulnerable people between 400 and 2,500 times. We know it's important, so let's make a vow to ourselves here tonight to make it our duty this week, maybe for the rest of this month, to move forward. Caring for others, uplifting them, advocating for a right